for Hollowell Steam Rally, and we're just down here with Merrick and his cousin because we're dropping off some fuel because his cousin is displaying a green goddess. So this is a big military fire truck from, I don't know, I have to check, I think it's around the 1950s. So it's just really nice to be here before it all gets crazy and have a little walk around, see everything being set up and grab a cheeky beer before I head home. So here's some of the classic cars that'll be on display tomorrow. Really is quite crazy how quiet it is at the moment. Tomorrow this will be full of cars and steam engines and heavy horses and dog shows and lots of things going on. Horses arriving. Don't think there's much chance of a fire with the rain looking like it is. So yes, that really lovely weather that we had when I very first arrived and was walking around the reservoir has completely disappeared, and now it's overcast, really cold and raining, so pretty much a traditional British summer. Another tradition of Hollowell Steam Rally is to head to the beer tent. This year it's being run by our local pub, the Ward Arms. After a quick pint, I went off to explore and found this beautiful flower cellar setting up. They're called country bumpkins. These smell amazing. It was lovely to see a splash of colour beneath the clouds. I always think closed fairgrounds are creepy fun. Eventually, I found my way to this lovely little cocktail bar, run by a guy called Andy. As it was a Friday, I decided to kick off the weekend with something tasty. This was their Cornish Storm, with dark spiced pineapple rum and ginger ale. Then my curiosity got the better of me, and I went back for their fruit pastel, made with black cherry gin and wild berry iron brew, which is a Scottish soda with cult status. Very refreshing. Shame there wasn't any sunshine. But there was shelter over at the beer tent, which was quickly filling up. I was there with Mum, Merrick and friends, and we downed a few more drinks and had a boogie to the band.
And I'm gonna be where the lights are shining on me like a rhinestone.
Eventually, it was time to head home and get some kip. Morning guys, so we're just walking down to the Hollowell Steam Field today. I'm just off to see my brother, who is already down there having a drink. It's 11 degrees and I am freezing. You can feel the cold on my face and my nose, and this is summer, so that's a bit crazy. So yeah, I'm just having a little wander down there, and I'm going to go and have a morning drink, liquid breakfast with Will and his friends. So see you down there. So the car park's starting to fill up. Hollowell Steam Rally has been going since 1986, which is a couple of years after my mum moved to the village. We were walking down the road one afternoon when we heard music, and when we went to look, we saw some fairground rides and stalls in a corner of the field. We didn't have any money, but they let me go on the swing. It was very Night Circus in the way it appeared out of nowhere and then disappeared again. My mum collected badges for about the first 15 years. I'll show them at the end of the video. went looking for my brother, but it's a big field, so it took some time. And I got distracted by tractors which were lining up to drive around the showground. This Ford's and Dexter was painted pink to raise awareness for dementia. I'll leave a link to that information below. I eventually found my brother, Anne-Marie and the two Robs down the beer tent, and there was much rejoicing by all. Then we went off to look at some sheep.
Unfortunately for Lenny, he's actually nearly extinct in this country. There's only about 300 of him left. And you might wonder why when he's got all this fantastic wool. Well, in the late 80s, the bottom fell out of the wool market. Farmers went away from the wool breeds. Went over to the meat breeds. But thankfully for Lenny, he's got over to Australia. We're not entirely sure how he got there. Me personally, I think Bear Grylls took him on a canoe. But he's got over there. The Southern Hemisphere do so much more for their wool than what we do here in the Northern. But we are getting better with British wool. And if you're going to buy any woolen product, please look for this sign down here, the crook. The crook means that that product is made with British wool. If every person in this country bought one pair of woolen socks each year, it would actually use up the country's wool supply. And that's what's going to help save sheep like Lenny.
Wait,
Yeah.
it's a video!
Look at this.
I am a sucker for hats. I buy one every year, and this year I think I outdid myself. Then it was on to one of my brother's favourite shops, the fudge stall. Next, we went on a stroll around the classic cars and discovered a genuine chitty chitty bang bang.
Drop it in, and up onto the front wheel, all the way down, switch the back, and easy spin out. Just about getting away with that one, starting on the top there, ladies and gents.
Quick coffee stop, then on to some more cars, including an impressive collection of Land Rovers. Then it was on to the mini steam engines. These were used to power all sorts of household appliances, from the early 1800s to the beginning of the 20th century. The rise of steam power was a driving force behind the Industrial Revolution, leading to improvements in agriculture, mining and transport. It also led to the fabulous fantasy genre, steampunk, which combines elements of science fiction and history with aesthetics from the golden age of steam. This is a miniature working model of a large wood cutting machine that used to come in previous years. It shows how a steam engine can be adapted to saw wood. Here it's cutting kindling, but the full-sized version cuts through entire tree trunks. I think it's so cute that you get to see tiny little engines next to the big ones. I'm not entirely sure what this one's doing. But this guy's using his to break down rocks into gravel. That should come in useful for filling in potholes. Here's another one mixing concrete. It made such a difference to industry when machines could operate themselves without having to have someone constantly there turning it. At the very bottom of the field is an auction where people sell parts that they don't want. I was quite smitten by this brass giraffe, but it came with an entire box of junk that I didn't want, so I put it back. There was also a stall displaying historical guns from the First and Second World Wars. I think it's wonderful that we have so many people who are so enthusiastic about their subject and strive to keep the information alive and pass it down to future generations. As a historical fiction author, these people are my heroes. Somebody pimped this ride. Look how big the wheels are. Time for a quick pint. Then on to my favourite part of the rally, the horses. I've always loved the heavy horses. I could honestly watch these all day. I think this one is a Suffolk Punch, which is the rarest heavy horse in England and critically endangered.
I think you'll agree that's a lovely sight there. The reason that they're in tandem is because back in the day, most of our roads and lanes were very narrow, and especially where I come from, down the West Country.
This little cart here is a lightweight cart or ladies' cart and was invented in America. In previous years, there was a lady who used to display an absolutely beautiful Frisian horse, but she wasn't here this year. There's also a lot of dogs at Hollowell, from the smallest to the largest. This is a St Bernard, which used to be used as a search and rescue breed in the Alps. If you're a Peaky Blinders fan, you can peer inside a traditional traveller's caravan. There were so many beautiful cars, but I think I found my favourite. Can you guess which one? It's a tough call, but this Jowett Javelin Jupiter from the mid-1950s really caught my eye. It's an incredibly swanky car. Anne-Marie was all about the Heinkel cabin. We bumped into a lady who had bought one and was currently renovating it. It's such a cute car.
Desmond had a barrow in the marketplace. Barley was a singer with a band.
It was soon time to head back to the beer tent, if only to get out of the rain. And you can't keep drinking without food, so by this point it was burger o'clock. And then time for more beers.
We've got all of this.
No, you haven't.
Yay!
Hi guys, so now we're going on something called the Road Rally, which is where we go on the Green Goddess on a pub crawl through the villages. So we're going on to this old 1950s fire engine, and then we're going to go to a pub to have a drink, and then we come back again. So it's going to be fun.
Don't walk around.
Getting down was certainly a challenge. It was a long drop. To the pub! We headed over to the Checkers in Ravensthorpe, as did half of the rally field. It led to a bit of gridlock. We were feeling a bit guilty because there wasn't enough room in the Green Goddess for everyone, and the two Robs started walking but ended up at the wrong pub. We thought they'd have to walk all the way back from the next village to join us. But 2 minutes after we arrived, they turned up, having thumbed a lift on a couple of mini engines. There was much cheering and celebration.
Oh, is that Rob?
What took you so long?
I'll let you know again with you.
And much beer. We got chatting to the drivers about the cost of running an engine and the logistics of attending rallies. It was really interesting.
Love, 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 love. Hello, baby.
But then it started raining, and I ducked inside to watch England in the quarter-finals against Switzerland. I'm not a huge football fan until it comes to the end of a big tournament and we're still in it. Then I tend to start watching. The last football match I watched was Carlisle United when I was in Narbonne last year. So it's been a while, and it makes a difference actually being in an English pub to watch it. But 15 minutes into extra time, at 1-1, I was carted out of the pub and back onto the Green Goddess to head back to the field, behind one of the slowest moving vehicles ever invented. When we finally made it back, I legged it to the beer tent and arrived just in time to see us win it 5-3 on penalties. The atmosphere was fantastic. Which naturally led to more drinks. As the sun faded, it started to get really cold, so we huddled around one of the steam engines, Winifred, for warmth. She had a shelf at exactly beer-holding height, and the driver even let me climb up to warm my bum against the burner for a bit. The football cheer continued into the evening, and the beer flowed freely until the last pint was poured. When the bar finally closed, the lads headed to their tents and their van, and I followed the white lines home, practicing night photography on my way. I particularly like the last one. The streetlights off the leaves make it look all sparkly. The next morning, we were back up the field for the last day. As well as the Green Goddess, Phil was displaying the only steamboat at the rally. It attracted a lot of attention, its little motor generating steam and turning the rotor at the back. Then it was time for the big steam engines to take their turn around the showground. We were sitting next to the Green Goddess as they started to line up and had a brilliant view. Then we took a wander over to the showground to watch them go by. They are absolutely huge. Many of them over 100 years old, some 130. It's quite incredible that they're still in such good condition today. I know coal isn't a clean fuel, but I do like the smell of them. I'll just let this run so that you can watch them. That's Winifred, the one that warmed us up last night as we were drinking our beers. After they all filed out, one stuck around to give driving lessons to people who wanted to try. The two Robs headed off back to York, and I stuck around with my brother and Anne-Marie until the stalls all closed and the beer tent stopped serving. It was an absolutely lovely festival, and one of the reasons I came back to the UK. I was 5 years old when the first Hollowell Rally took place, and I went to it all through my school years, and many years as an adult. It underwent a change of management recently, and then the COVID years, so we're all hoping that it will pull through and we'll have many more years of rallies to look forward to.